It's a pleasant good morning to this week's final edition of the Star Good Morning Show here on Star Television, broadcasting live from our Media One Center 3 Mama Street, Bookfields in Freetown. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamal. Top stories in the program. Japan supports Sierra Leone to ensure the sustainability of marine fisheries and improve livelihood of the fishing community. Sierra Leone's Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow has on Thursday, 27 June 2019, launched the multi-sector strategic plan to reduce malnutrition in Sierra Leone. The event took place at the Miata Conference Hall in Freetown. We shall also be looking at where Wimnat Publishers has donated 85,000 copies of core textbooks to the Ministry for Basic and Senior Secondary Education as part of their corporate social responsibility in promoting education in the country. My guest in the studio is Dr. Mohamed C. Kamanda, and Dr. Adikali S. Kamara, the Secretary General and Deputy from UNESCO. They are here to tell me more on the implementation of a project on education to ensure empowerment, especially girls and women. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning,
Dr. Adikali.
Good morning, thank you, Abdulrahman, for having us here.
Good to have you both in the studios.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Remember the Star Good Morning Show. You can follow this program. You follow us on YouTube. You're live on YouTube and also on Facebook. Remember, the Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Local Commercial Bank.
Give me money.
What money?
Give me
Okay, I'm
money.
not saying open up. What are you
Can't give me money. What's kind of bad sleep this guy? What's enough for putting money again? You can't be a cat taker. Why you for the shaft me bad self? Auntie Jojo.
Mama, how you doing?
Thank you. I don't come on a bank. What you make you face this one?
That's all that man. Hey, Gapi can't take me money, don't go. But why don't tell her say they can't give me money if it's a joke?
Hey, Auntie Jo. All the way me can at this society meet. If man take you money loss. You know don't hear about financial inclusion. Where local commercial bank they make everybody, no matter how you turn, no matter the kind of business way they do.
Financial rating.
Inclusion.
That enough for all man.
Any item, you not cripple in the bank. You not cripple in for bank. Because not for the today, for we tomorrow one. And now they don't make it easy for we. They don't open in different way. Then we go make you back not go feel bad about your banking system at all. Then get keke account.
You look one confused me small. Then keke rider there. Wait, say that they open accounts for them. Wait. Where they want to ride bike? Then to man, they don't more lanky driver they all.
Yes.
They only open accounts for them.
Yes. Sometimes you want buy keke, you go and ride for party forever. You dey go put that small thing. Come up a keke account. They get the other account so they call Komra account. That for we then Komra them.
For we?
Yes. We then Komra them. So tell you picky don't put on school. That knows get they help we let my people go. When reach now for go college, you not get money. Yeah. But that account so it be not open for I can just go and take you pay school fee.
When they talk about this Komra business, the Komra account where they go open. Well, you were not born now.
You dey still open accounts. Komra accounts, then you back that mandate see where you open them. Where you born to the pikin they can run back through that account day. So they don't make as you and now they don't open branch now bonds. Imagine how far did they go now. Therefore make things easy for me and you too.
A better way can tell me, oh, hey, Sergeant Tenki, that me sister, the way we in picking the thief money, the way they destroy that one day, and they go mad, they go tell her.
Local commercial bank, I mean they make it easy. They say tell you paddy, may go tell him paddy.
And they go tell her.
What you tell you so go you explain
And they go tell her.
Life is easy.
Commercial bank, bank with cocaine. Commercial bank, #1, bank with cocaine.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We move along with the program. As part of their corporate social responsibility towards ensuring the growth and development of education, Wimnat Publishers has donated 85,000 copies of core textbooks to the Ministry of Basic, Senior and Secondary Education. Here is a highlight of that event.
It just shows everybody committed to ensuring that the system works. This is a contractor who benefits from the free quality by giving a contract where he don't make him profits out of it, but he believes he will do additional contribution. For sure, he appreciates what we do for him, and he make the books they print over and above the quantity mentioned in the contract. So he do them because he expects damages go occur and other unforeseen circumstances. Now that everything don't go successful, he makes sure he put additional copies. According to Ran, he believes he will approve more schools along the process. So he gives these 85,000 copies to do that. So as a government, we appreciate. So it means a lot to we, because forgive, it not only means say for people who get forgive, it is in the nature of human being. So I appreciate that. So now you make there on behalf of the government for tell them thank you. No, we will not supply books there. Every government and government assisted school, they don't get them books. Yes, but then we get some schools that will not be able to approve it, will not be benefits. So when I will approve them, they will be there. At the primary schools, they get more copies then. The integrated science, social studies, they get more copies than the English and mathematics for junior secondary schools. Because even when we supply, we not target by region. That the pupils we target in the schools, they will government for everybody. And some of them are talking on people are not able to come out for sure now. But the fact remains that these books are given free. People, the parents, they know the teacher, principals, they know they ask money for them at all. No, the extent the way the damage will ask for parents for pay. But we do and for many people then demonstrate responsibility. Right? If now if you only picking self then get that primary science for Sierra Leone. We expected the other picking and get for user in the next year. So one and a whole and more fine. So do they deal with the issue case by case? When you destroy a willfully and then they will notify for but that not prevent them from taking their home. Number one. Then number two, the picking will be given responsibility for handling.
As a token of appreciation and as part of their social responsibility, they have decided to donate up to 87,000 core textbooks to the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, one of which I am holding in my hands right now. And so officials of the ministry, headed by the Minister, Honorable Alpha Usman Timbo, was here today to grace this occasion and with much appreciation. So we just want to let all Sierra Leoneans know that the issue of quality, free quality school education in this country is a responsibility of all of us, even those who were not born here, but who are doing business here have been able to make an impact. So we just want to say a lot of thanks on behalf of the President and the Minister and the officials of the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education to say thank you to all of them to WinMAD for this donation. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. My guest in the studio, Dr. Mohamed Kamando, Secretary General for UNESCO, and his deputy, Dr. Adikali Kamara. They are here to talk to me on a project designed by UNESCO aimed at empowering women in society. Good morning, Doc. Once more, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Sierra Leone.
Great. Dr. Kamara, let me start with you. The key objective of this particular project that we've just watched in the telly, what is it all about?
It is about empowering women, educating Sierra Leoneans to understand that women can do anything that a man can do, and even better sometimes. That we need to unlearn those very, very cultural traits that have taught us to subjugate our women, to treat them as second-class citizens. That our women deserve the right to be empowered. They need our support to be able to participate very fully in politics. Think about it, sir. Our population constitutes over 50% of women, and yet only a pitiful 13% of them are taking part in national politics. Now that is a disgrace. It is. It is because of the way we perceive women. It's the way we've been brought up to perceive women. So this video, Salimatu, is it's the effort of not only UNESCO, but all the partner agencies like UNDP, UN Women, to teach the women of Sierra Leone that they have a part to play in politics, that they deserve to occupy their own rightful places in governance.
Dr. Kaman, I'm pretty much keen to understand how we can reconcile with such a challenge when we look at our societal makeup that tied us up to our roles and expectation in society. It is this collective belief that women should not take a center stage when it comes to politics, deciding on governance issues, but rather they are here to actually, when there's a consensus, for them to say, yes, we can follow and follow for the rest of it. What is the possibility therein to actually infuse that enlightenment on them, for them to gain self-esteem and say, you know what, there is now a period where we can question those old beliefs in a quest of forming new opinion in all of these?
It's a process. It's not going to be an event. I'm very fully aware of the extent to which this culture has been ingrained in every Sierra Leonean or every West African, indeed many cultures. Patriarchal cultures give pride of place to men, to sons. Yesterday at a launch of an NGO, WISE, yes, Women in Social Empowerment.
And the 50-50.
That's the one, yes. And I spoke about John Story Contest novel, In Search of Sons. It's a very sad story. But it sums up our attitude in this culture, because the story itself is set in Sierra Leone. A woman spends 11 years looking for a son and ended up dying. On the day she delivered the son, she did on her deathbed. Why has a woman got to look for sons for 11 years? As if the girl child is not a child. So the husband put her through that ordeal. Not because she had not given birth to any child, but she had been giving birth to daughters instead of sons. What is wrong with having a girl child?
It's stereotypic thinking.
It is. So my point is this. I mean, and this is the standpoint from UNESCO, that we need to unlearn these cultural beliefs about the supremacy of sons, about the supremacy of men. Long and gone are those days when the axiom of behind every successful man is a woman. Today we should begin to see our women as partners in development, companions, partners, not as subjugates, not as subservient folks who cannot stand but have to depend on handouts from us.
Okay. Dr. Adikali Kamara, now the indication is you started as part of your intervention to say how you can change the entire mindset and the narrative and this perspective. How do you hope to further engage women for them to believe in what they are in society? And by extension, perhaps I'm not sure whether it falls within a mandate, but rather you can be in a position of influence to see how superior policies can address all of these upcoming challenges.
Okay, thank you, Abdulrahman. I think in the first case, I want to tell you what so far UNESCO has done in trying to educate women, trying to motivate women. We started a nationwide tour with this CD we call Salimatu, which is aiming to empower women to take active part in politics and leadership as well. We went to Kenema, went to Bo, went to Makeni, Puloko, and Freetown as well, Waterloo, yes, Waterloo. I mean, this, as Doc has already said, is a continuous process. It's a process. Still planning to engage more of them, more women groups, in order to them to understand, first of all, their position in the communities and what they can deliver. If you look at even published materials, they will definitely tell you that women are better in terms of management than men. They are good managers. They manage our homes well. They manage our economy, and they are good managers. Therefore, we see the need, UNESCO see the need, and many other organizations understand that we need to put women into politics, into higher positions.
Doctor, what really went wrong over the years where the collective understanding of the lay public is only limited to UNIDO, the World Bank, IMF. Not much of UNESCO being heard. Perhaps what really comes to mind when you talk of UNESCO is identification of heritage sites across the world. What really went wrong with the awareness raising in terms of what you guys are doing here?
Do you want me to answer that?
So can I hear the second?
No. Over the last few years, UNESCO had been dormant in Sierra Leone because of the illness and unfortunate passing of the Secretary General himself. As a result, there had been an inertia. And because we have been lacking as a country in paying our dues and all of that, UNESCO's representation in this country had been very, very limited. Until very recently, when I was appointed as secretary, we have tried, through the help of the ministers of basic and senior education, senior secondary education, and technical and higher education, we've been able to resuscitate, to put some life back into UNESCO's activities in Sierra Leone. You may be aware that very recently we had a high-powered delegation from headquarters in Paris and in Abuja, in this country, to make firm commitments on how UNESCO is going to take its own rightful place in steering not only culture, as you have cited, but education. So there are lots and lots of programs in the pipeline that UNESCO is going to embark on, notably staff capacity development, STEM projects, as well as the project we are currently leading on female empowerment in politics.
Dr. Adikali Kaba, have you been able to gauge the public reaction with respect to what seems to be changing now when this Salimatu stuff is being shown out?
Okay. Oh yes. We have received so many calls. We have had meetings with different women's groups as recent as day before yesterday.
The day before yesterday, yes.
They visited our office and engaged us on this Salimatu issue and how we can help empower more women. We are still planning as our further activities to go to the provinces again and do an impact assessment on this Salimatu that will inform our decision on what activity we need to do next.
Dr. Kamano touched on the aspect of capacity building, especially for women. I am looking at it from the point where perhaps it should not only be focused on women taking center stage in politics, but rather enhancing their capability also in the area of agriculture, entrepreneurship, you name it.
Sorry.
Yes,
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Alikali.
UNESCO can't do everything. We've got
Well,
our
you can do
project.
something.
Yes, well, we can't do everything. We have our project, we have our focus for now. We have our resources, which are limited to certain projects. So as far as we concern, we have a lot. We have other things we're working on, which for now maybe only Doc can say it, but I can go beyond that. But what we're focusing at the moment is how we can empower women on this project. We have other activities like in terms of supporting education. We have others. We recently concluded the mentorship program between members of parliament and local councillors. So we have a lot of activities we're working on.
Okay. Doc, let's come back to the project design of Salimatu here. What is the telling truth about this whole episode? What is it trying to teach the lay public?
It is trying to teach fundamentally that a woman is capable of joining politics even as an independent candidate with support from community, with support from the husbands, with support from other groups around. Because Salimatu, when she wanted to join politics, was turned down. The symbol of the local party she was a member of. And so she chose to go independent, and she sought support from external agencies. What this video is teaching other women is that you don't get frustrated by local politicians trying to intimidate you. You don't get frustrated by local groups trying to stifle your intentions. You have the option to stand even as an independent candidate, as long as you are clear in your mind as to what you want to aspire towards. And she was successful, even as an independent candidate, despite all the antagonisms from Honorable Lamin and his cohorts in the video. Because there were this cabal, you know, with machetes, tearing down posters and all of that.
Because generally politics has been underscored with some element of violence.
Oh yes, oh yes. And you see, this video is crucial. It is telling people that you don't just vote because you've been given a few thousand leones to buy alcohol for your overnight satisfaction. Vote for somebody you believe in is going to serve you. Honorable Lamin clearly, who had served that community in the video for more than several terms of office, had offered nothing apart from alcohol and intoxicants to the men who were at Jamba, ghettos. So Salimatu is saying, you don't just rely on that constituency of voters. You don't rely on those kinds of handouts. People out there who are electorates, vote for someone you believe in, vote for someone you trust. And you can vote even for a woman like me. So she's offering a viable alternative. This video offers a vision for both politicians and for electorates. You don't just waste your votes for handouts. You vote for somebody you trust in. And there's a gentleman there in the video who believed in Salimatu. He is a man like me and you. And he supported Salimatu right throughout. And in the end, victory was theirs. Even though Salimatu was denied the symbol of the established party, she had the support of the populace and they still voted for her.
Okay. I'll come back to you, Dr. Kamanda and Dr. Adikali Kamara from UNESCO, both the Secretary General and the Deputy. When I come back, I'll definitely going to put a question to you, what the potential of this country holds in a situation where women are completely enlightened. Stay with me in the studio. The government of Sierra Leone, together with the government of Japan and the Food and Agricultural Organization, on Thursday, 27 June 2019, held an inception workshop for a project to implement the 2009 FAO agreement on port-state measures and the voluntary guidelines to securing small-scale fisheries. My colleague Moses Oju Kamara has details of this report.
The launch and interception workshop was held in the conference room of the Ministry of Fisheries in Freetown. The workshop presented the outlook of the project to key stakeholders, incorporate stakeholders' input in the project, and draw a work plan for the implementation of the project. The project intends to enhance the sustainability of marine fisheries by preventing, deterring, and eliminating illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and to improve maritime security in Sierra Leone. The Japanese ambassador to Sierra Leone, His Excellency Toshitomu Himino, stated that we are providing the support on the basis of growing stronger relationship between Sierra Leone and Japan.
I'm very happy to be here, and I like to talk about 3 reasons why Japan has decided to do this. First of all, it is on the basis of good, important relations between the 2 peoples, 2 countries, and 2 governments of Japan and Sierra Leone. We have good relations, but we are seeing better, stronger relations now. At the end of August this year,
in Japan, our Prime Minister hosts a big Japan-Africa Development Conference, which is called TICAD, TICAD, Tokyo International Conference on African Development. And we are very pleased that His Excellency the President is attending this conference and contribute, and not only attend and contribute to the conference, but he'll be visiting Japan, which is a very important opportunity.
Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources, Honorable Emma Korojalo, stated that the implementation of the Port State measures aim to directly halt commerce on IUU products by preventing illegal fish entering international markets or illegal operations using the different port services to trade in fish and fisheries products. She also noted that the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources puts premium in promoting small-scale fisheries.
I would like to commend the FAO, the government of Japan, and all who have worked in diverse ways to see us all here today to continue the discussion of sustainable fisheries with key emphasis on small-scale fisheries and the FAO Port State measures to deter, prevent, eliminate illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing, and in ensuring maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea and particularly in the countries of Sierra Leone and Liberia. I would like to express special thanks and appreciation to the government and the people of Japan for their continued support in improving the fisheries of Sierra Leone. I have been informed that in the 90s, the Japanese government provided appropriate fishing gears and netting materials, fiberglass fishing boat, outboard and inboard engine.
Since 2016, the government has put stringent measures on port measures. Mainly when we are exporting fish, we have to go initially to the Ministry of Fisheries. The catch is verified, whether this catch is allowed to be exported based on the local landings. We then proceed to the Ministry of Trade. They also verify the export, where we then go to customs. They do a clear process as well of verifying, which is done through the ASICUDA system. When we are exporting to neighboring countries, all of these documents have been critically scrutinized now. So I'd like to commend government that with all the limitations that we have, we've been able to put certain strict measures on exports.
Compiled by Abdurrahman Kamara, I am Moses Ojukama reporting.
Again, I come to you, Dr. Commander. I see a situation where the hurdles women need to jump over, the level of intimidation, violence that characterize pretty much often the electioneering process in this country. I see a very tough campaign that you guys are undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
How do you hope to surmount some of these challenges?
It's about self-belief. You saw in the clip there, the message to women themselves is that they have to believe in their own self-worth. They have to trust in themselves. Salimatu believed in something. She believed she could make a difference. She failed to be intimidated. Honorable Amin had all the arsenal of weapons. He had money and a gang of youths to use to intimidate Salimatu. But she failed to be fazed. She was determined. So it's about determination. It's about self-belief. So the message to the women themselves is that they need to shift away from the mentality of being subservient. They need to learn that they are capable. They need to understand, look, who is more powerful? Usually when they ask you, who is the head of a household? The man gladly says, I am, but he knows he's not, because the woman is. Which is why I call my own wife my boss, because she determines what you eat. She determines when you eat. So women have to believe that they are invaluable. They have to believe that they are stronger. They have to believe in their own self-worth. They need to reevaluate themselves. Yes, there are going to be challenges, no doubt. There are going to be lots of honorable laminas in our political system who would use everything, who would stop at nothing. Because once they hear boys say, after you, Nayusa, they believe they are unsurpassable. But that's not true. There are organizations out there ready to support women. There are lots and lots of constituencies of men in here who believe that women could be better rulers. People are tired. We're tired of all these tales of being ruled by men who are superior, and this superiority myth associated with men. It's falsehood. We now know, you and I know, it's time for change. It's time to start unlearning those very, very cultural beliefs that we've been brought up in. It is going to take time. But as the Chinese would say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And this is just a humble beginning.
Dr. Adikali Kamara, the general expectation now is for the women to actually achieve their desired objective. They have to really unclinch themselves from that stereotype way of thinking that are inferior, building what they call a self-esteem. But that has to start with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Self-realization. After which their placement in society could be seen from a positive trajectory. That again, I say, reconciling a challenge where you will want to believe yourself, your self-worth, in the absence of a clear-cut enlightenment, what perhaps stroke education. It comes along with education. And unless an enlightened mind has a potential to make a U-turn, where you question those old beliefs for you to form a new opinion. And education generally, if you look at it from the population level, especially among women, is not impressive as a percentage. Yes.
I think, Abdulrahman, you said it all. After self-esteem and from the feedback we get from the Salematu video after, normally when we go up country, we play the video, and after that we allow the people to say whatever they want to say, their opinion. We have a discussion forum. And most of the concerns they raised is, I can remember one lady from Poloko saying, despite women are making effort to take back their seats, to take back their position in communities, yes, they still got done by men. Why? We asked them. They said, because women are less educated. So this shows that education also plays a very, very important role in enhancing women's participation in politics. Then another issue they raised, of which was very, very controversial by then, was money, income. Some women said, because they don't have money, they don't have enough resources to challenge men, it's really, really difficult for them to take part in politics. Then the other women will tell you, no, money is not important. As long as we've got the self-belief, we've got the enthusiasm, we've got the support from organizations, from government, from political parties, then we can make it up. So there are a whole lot of issues surrounding supporting women in politics, but most of them are debatable.
Again, it boils down to the point where there is a huge disparity among educated women and those you consider to be at the grassroots. For this particular project designed to change the narrative, how will it impact the ordinary girl, the ordinary woman at Abacha Street, at Dovecot, Congo Market, Kuton Road, rather than buffeting the minds of those that are occupying the seat of power, the educated ones? I honestly don't want to name names. So there's a huge discrepancy. It's about for them and not for all of us. Especially we've seen situation where women are anticipating for political position instead of them coming to rally behind their colleague. They will just leave their colleague in such a solitary way, rather than men could galvanize to ensure, for whatever reason, maybe she's moneyed and they could get something out of that woman, exploit her, and they left her at her own mercy. The cooperation, that sense of collectiveness should come first from women collectively, Doctor.
I do agree with you. But the beauty about what this government has done, offering free education for all, that is salutary. It's a very useful point of start.
That's for an upcoming generation.
We're good. You begin the foundations now for the future. And also, it's not only formal schooling. There are opportunities which the Ministry of Education is embarking on for non-formal education as well. And that addresses that discrepancy you are talking about. Because the constituency who benefits from the non-formal school education system are the very market women you're talking about at Dovecourt. Those ladies who sell in the markets in my village, for instance, are the ones who benefit from non-formal education. And UNESCO, you may be glad to know, is bringing in a project called School Meets the Learner. Hopefully, before the end of this year, that particular literacy program, it's digital. And who benefits from it most is the constituency of people you are describing. Those who never really went to school, but who can use the computers, who can use their mobile phones. School Meeting the Learner. These are ways of enhancing the capacity of these women. Western education should not be the only gatekeeper. These are some of the things we need to address. I know that Western schooling keeps the gates between uneducated and politics. But women should understand that the inability to read and write English should not stop you from taking part in national development issues. No. And it may interest you to know, sir, that this country has lots of hidden literacies. There are women who can read and write, except not in English. They can function in other languages.
Functional literacy.
Functional literacy. And that is what is more important, really.
So how can we tap into short hidden literacy to actually change the paradigm?
There are several ways of doing it. Over 50% of this country's population are Muslims. They use Arabic. They read and write Arabic. They keep their records in Arabic. It's for us to tap on that potential, which we are failing to do. So it's education and re-education. It's unlearning the very stereotypes that have kept the gates for these women into national development programs. We need to educate the women, and the women themselves need to believe in themselves. So it's a whole lot of process, sir. It's not an event. It's going to take time. Nobody will tell you that cultural transformation is eventual. No, it does take time. But it's a process we have to start now.
How will you give a nod to the claim that there is an unexplained fear that when you allow women to become highly educated, they become extremely troublesome and they want to dictate the pace at all times?
Even that is mythical, sir. No scientific study has been conducted and proven to establish the comment you have just made. These are...
Doctor, apology is not coming from me. Maybe this is just a public opinion, sir.
Well, I mean, these are assumptions, and they are fueled by the same patriarchal assumptions which will perpetuate in society. Do you know, I remember when I was growing up, and my father never allowed me in the kitchen, which was a huge disadvantage to me, When I grew up and learned and understood that I had to cook for myself at one point and did not know where to start. Basic skills, because I was pigeonholed by my father into performing certain roles. You are not supposed to be in the kitchen. You are a boy. The girl is not supposed to take part in family discussions. So if you went into the living room and found your father and other elders sat, you were not allowed in there if you're a girl. These kinds of pigeonholing of children is wrong. So we have to start educating ourselves, sir. We have to embark on that process now. Because until we change our outlook of the girl child and the boy child, until we change our mindsets about how society actually works and the role that women will play in its development, we are going to be left behind forever, for a much longer time.
Dr. Adikale, I'm not pretty sure whether this traditional intuition of getting the girl child to go into early marriage for economic consideration, whether for the education of the boy child, is still in existence in our communal settings. Otherwise, if it does, I see it as a very Herculean challenge. Going forward with such a campaign to undo the entire narrative by getting the women empowered.
I mean, I also have to do more research on that to find out whether it is still in existence. But we all can agree that it's a huge challenge if it does, and we should try to minimize that. You see, girl child education is very, very important, Abdurrahman, and I want to give you certain examples worldwide that women have proven to be great people, great leaders. You think of Angela Merkel in Germany, Serafina in South Africa, and recently Mahatma Gandhi in India, right?
Thatcher.
Yeah. Margaret Thatcher. And recently in Britain, Theresa
May.
Theresa May. Those are all educated women that are proven, yes, what men can do, they can also do it.
Our mayor in Freetown.
Excellent.
And
our neighbor country, Liberia.
Yeah. Johnson Sirleaf.
Those are all women. So therefore, educating the girl child is very, very important, Abdurrahman. So it's not only about men, also has to do with girl child education.
I'm keen to know whether UNESCO, your mandate falls within addressing key challenges. This problem, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Education, before it was named so, otherwise Ministry of Education, has been battling with it. Visibly pregnant girls, not allowed in school. UNICEF designed a program called GATE to actually get them infused. When once they are ended up resuckling the child, if they have the option of going back to school, they will. But public opinion is divided on that. Others are saying the law seems to be pretty much discriminatory. But when you talk to officials from the ministry, they will tell you until the policy is changed, then we will continue to hold on to that particular policy. So what's a real take on that? I don't know whether UNICEF, your mandate goes just beyond that.
It's a tricky one. Because there are cultural beliefs, and society has rules that is governed by. So if there's a government policy on this which stipulates that a girl who is visibly pregnant should not be allowed in the school premises, I think that's justifiable because of, I know it's an inclusive issue, to be honest, because excluding a girl because she's pregnant means you're exempting her from being educated. I know in other countries, like the UK for instance, special provisions are made for such children. are we sophisticated enough? Do we have the resources to be able to make that kind of provision for visibly pregnant girls in our society? That's open to debate. But my view, personal view, and this does not reflect UNESCO's view anyway, my personal view is that it doesn't mean that because a girl is pregnant, that girl should lose the opportunity to be educated. Our system should find a way of making provisions for children in that disadvantaged position. Because don't forget, Abdurrahman, that the boys who impregnate these girls still attend school at the disadvantage of the girl who is being exempt because of her physical outlook. So we as a country, we as a nation, should take responsibility for educating that girl, even in that state. We should not deprive her of the right to be educated.
Okay. Dr. Alikali, we don't seem to be having much time left in the studio. As we move forward, how do you hope to move along with this campaign by partnering with other organizations to ensure that the result of this campaign holds?
In the first case, we're planning to visit our people again, talk to them, tell us about how they feel about this video Salimatu and what they want us next to do. Then we'll take it from there. If it causes us to meet policymakers, then we can do. But for now, we need to go and engage with the communities again and they will inform our opinion on what to do next.
Okay. Doctor?
And where funds permit, we want to embark on translating the video itself in the national languages, because in the medium in which it's being cast, it exempts, it excludes people who can't understand Creole and English. So we had discussed this, remember?
Yeah.
So we have spoken to the project officer, who is going to express that concern to the regional director and the director in Paris as well. If we get the funds, we want to translate this. We really want to embark on a nationwide campaign, because people need to know. We don't want to wait until the time for elections. We want Sierra Leoneans to know that women have a place in politics and they should be supported to do so.
Dr. Mohamed Kamanda, Secretary General for UNESCO, and Dr. Adikali Kamara, Deputy Secretary General for UNESCO, I want to thank you both for honoring this invitation to be part of this program.
Thank you very much.
Doctor, I'm seeing you holding
Yeah.
a CD plate of Salimatu.
I just want to inform the public again, this is the CD for Salimatu, but it's limited in supply at the moment, but you can access it on YouTube.
Yeah, in chapters.
Yes. So if you
So
Google...
is it out for sale?
No, it's not out for sale.
We gave it out for free,
Okay.
but the copies are already finished. So.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to having you in subsequent edition to really talk on this very most important aspect about women empowerment.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you so much. This is how I do that. Cutting into this edition of the program. Thanks to my studio guests. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamara. Have a wonderful day.